Hi, my name is Denise Ho, and I'm the Director of Academic Advising and Support Services in the Undergrad Business Programs Office. I'm here to present a quick guide on the first 2 years experience in the Leavey School of Business. So let's get started. So the agenda today is I'm going to do an overview of what the first years have been working on and working through, and also what they're going to be wrapping up in spring quarter. I'm going to go over the 5 themes of sophomore year. And then at the end, if you have questions or unsure of things or where to go, I'll give you information on where you should direct those questions. So I want to revisit, why do we do this? And so our office is really there to guide our students to be intentional learners and to explore educational and career opportunities. And really, we want them to develop really great relationships with their faculty, staff, and the Santa Clara community. So the first year experience, it's been really great to get to know our first year class. We have done quarterly check-ins. So every quarter, the peer advisors will reach out to their advisees to meet with them to talk about their academic course plan and their academic progress. We also share with first year students that they can make an appointment with a faculty advisor in the Drummond Center, and they can do that through their website. I also send them quarterly check-in emails, usually sometimes 1 to 2, usually around registration, just with some information about what classes to think about for registering, and also just how the registration process. And so it's been really great to kind of hear from students throughout the year. I've shared this with my first year students, but I want to just let parents know that, these are the courses that we do require they complete their first year. Business 70, I would say the majority and probably close to like 99% of our first year students have already completed this in the fall, so that's great. Critical thinking and writing 1 and 2, our first year students are pre-enrolled in that class, so they should be wrapping their requirements up spring quarter. And in cultures and ideas, they had a special registration back in fall quarter, and we worked with them to make sure that they registered for cultures and ideas 1 and 2, and we'll wrap that up by the end of spring quarter. As we look forward to kind of close up our first year with this class, we have a mandatory advising session. So all students will get a hold on their account, and the only way to release that is that they have to meet with an advisor. We do this for a couple of reasons. The first one is to make sure that we review kind of where the student's at in terms of their academic progress, and making sure that they're hitting the right courses that they need to complete. And number 2, it's a way for us to check in and start planning about their sophomore year, and for them to start thinking about if they want to minor in something. And I'm going to talk about the 5 themes that we really will share with them in their mandatory advising session. And so, like I said, this makes a great way for our sophomore year. There are 5 key themes for their sophomore year to think about. And so 1, their academic advising team changes based on the need of sophomores. They'll start thinking about their major. There's something called pathways. They'll start thinking about their professional development, and then also leadership. So I want to take a moment and say that sophomore year is a circular process. It's not just an event that happens. And what I mean is that it's just not a series of checklists, but really students are in different phases: exploration, in which they're gathering information and learning new concepts in the classroom and about themselves. And then they're going to make a shift their sophomore year, where they're going to want to be more intentional about what they're studying and what their career goals are. And there's just a very reflective thing that happens at the end of sophomore year as they transition to their sophomore year. So I think, to sum it up, it's really a lot of knowledge plus application this year for sophomores, and them really kind of repeating that cycle of them learning. And there are going to be some challenging times in how they rise to that occasion their sophomore year. And so it's a really interesting and fun phase for them as they're kind of looking deeper into what their passions are, and how that is expressed through their academics and their career opportunities. So academic advising changes sophomore year. They don't have an assigned peer advisor. We do have sophomore peer advisors, and they're broken up by different majors. And so, in their first year, we do a ton of outreach to first years, and in sophomores, there's a shift. The shift is that sophomores now need to learn how to do outreach, as we want to make sure that they're practicing that kind of networking and taking initiative. And so we have a variety of different sophomore peer advisors based on interests and major. And so we really want our sophomores, if they want the peer-to-peer advice, can ask people based on, okay, I'm thinking of doing finance and marketing as between these two majors. They can set up a meeting with a peer advisor that's in a finance major, or they can go to a peer advisor that's a marketing major. And we did that to set up so that they can really start thinking about what they want to do. Sophomores will also have a faculty advisor. And once they declare their major, they will be assigned a faculty advisor within that major. For example, if I declare finance, I will now have a finance faculty advisor. And that person's role is really to help them choose their upper division major electives. And so that's also a shift that happens their sophomore year. And of course, at any time they can make an online appointment with a drama and faculty advisor for any kind of questions that they have. We recommend that they're a really great resource if they're thinking about minoring in something or majoring in something in arts and sciences and engineering. I do want to touch base on, what should my son or daughter be taking their sophomore year? So they'll be wrapping up their lower division business courses, such as their OMIS 40 and 41. So they're going to start really learning about data analysis and statistics that's been built on the classes that they took their first year. And they're going to be learning, I think, some more advanced concepts in their sophomore year in their lower division classes. They will be starting to take business law and some really interesting things. Sophomores go, when can I start taking my upper division business classes? And we usually tell them that probably the earliest they'll start doing that, depending on how they make their way through their lower division business courses, probably by spring quarter, they'll be able to start taking some upper division business courses. So declaring a major is a major event. Sophomores must declare their major by the end of spring quarter. For those who are studying abroad, they'll probably declare it by the end of fall quarter. And so, there's two different things when declaring a major. The administrative part of, declaring your major on an online form is very simple, right? You just go on, you click your major that you choose, and then you send it off. But the process to get to that point, has already started. So all first years had to take Business 70, and that class was really built to start to introduce the majors that we have within the business school. We also tell students to stop by the Career Center. They have a variety of different resources and guides for students. So that's usually where I tell students to first start there. We also have all our majors listed on our website with a lot of great information. But I want to highlight that we have these major videos. And so we created these videos interviewing students and faculty and alumni of why they chose that major, what internships they have, what topics do they learn about within the major. And then we have alumni talk about how their major has kind of shaped what they currently are doing life after Santa Clara. The last thing is I really encourage students to join different student organizations. So we have an undergrad marketing association, and so that's open to anybody on campus that's interested in marketing, but in particular, if I was someone interested in marketing, I could join that student organization, hear from upper class students on their experience, and sometimes they bring in alumni and have different panels, and that's just another really great way to kind of explore what the different options are when choosing your major. The question that students are really concerned is can I change my major? And the answer is yes, you can always change your major. They say, what's the latest that I can change my major? And it really depends on where they are in terms of when they are deciding to change their major. And if they're in the process of like, I want to change my major and worried about, am I going to finish on time? They can meet with a peer advisor. They can meet with a faculty advisor. They can make an appointment within the Drama Center, and we're happy to sit down with them to look at their individualized plan. Declaring a pathway. So this is something that's unique to Santa Clara. And so pathways is like a mini minor. We have different themes such as beauty, democracy, design thinking. It's a series of 4 classes that they have to take in their Santa Clara core. Once they complete that, their senior year, they'll write a 2-page reflection paper. This is in the spirit that we are a liberal arts school, and so I think it really adds value to the business degree when they're taking these other classes outside of the business school to really make them a holistic human, and when they're out there in the real world. So there are a variety of themes that students can pick online, and they must select a theme by the end of their sophomore year. And it's very easy. They can also do it online. So professional development, students start thinking about, career as they start thinking about their major. And so I already mentioned the Career Center is a really great place to start and stop by. We have something called the Peer Career Consultants, and these are juniors and seniors who've had internships, or maybe more than one. And I really encourage students to go ahead and schedule a meeting with them, and they are trained to talk about career options and give advice on the interview process, and just a really great resource for peer-to-peer advice. Another thing I encourage all sophomores to take is Management 50. This course is offered every quarter, and it's our professional skills class. And so in this class, they learn about how to do online networking, personal branding. They create a LinkedIn profile. They start their resume and get it reviewed, and they also learn about interview styles. And so we really encourage sophomores to register for this class their sophomore years. It's specially designed for sophomores to start learning and building on their professional skills. So leadership, there's a real shift in sophomore year that they're starting to they participate in a lot of different things. And then towards the end of their sophomore year, they start to take the leap of actually running these different organizations, right? And so we really want to point students to the Center for Student Involvement, who have a lot of different opportunities, student organizations outside of the business school based on interests that they can participate in, but also start to lead. We have a wide variety of leadership opportunities within the business school, and so we usually send out emails to students about our recruitment process. And so the cycle that we've seen typically is that winter and spring cycle is when we start recruiting and hiring student leaders for the following year. And so in your son or daughter's second year, winter and spring is when they'll really start to kind of gear up and start getting their resumes in orders and really looking at different opportunities to apply to get more leadership experience. In all of this is a lot of great information, and we know that sophomore year is exciting, but also can be challenging transition to go from a first year to their second year. And so we always want you to know that you can send your student to the undergrad business programs office. We're located in Lucas 115 on the first floor, or they can email us at ugbprograms@su.edu. I also want to say, if you have any questions about, the first year experience or second year experience, feel free to contact us via email, and we'll gladly get back to you. We hope you learned something new today, and it was great, and thank you for listening to my presentation, and I hope to see you soon in person.